Okay, I want to talk about what materials are needed to build a track. This is a Kyosho Mini Z designed for Kyosho Mini Z track. It's 22 feet long. This section comes out to 8 feet. The rest of it, most of it, just comes out to 6 feet wide. Materials needed are tempered hardboard, is the 4x8 sheets that this comes in. Garden edging, which comes like this in 75 or 100-foot rolls. And it's Home Depot part number 1717307 if you have to order it. I used aluminum rivets to put the garden edging onto the track. And if you don't use a washer, it can pull out. So pretty much needed to use a washer. And I switched to 1/2 inch long rivets. They stick out a little bit more than these, but then they don't ever pull out. I started with a model with graph paper so that I could visualize being able to see all the cars from what driving position will you use. You want to be able to see the car underneath here. So it turns out this is a real good driving position. If there's not room for enough drivers, you can see pretty good from along in here. I used number 6 1/2 inch screws to screw down to some wood below to join each section of track. In theory, this thing could all come apart and you can move it outside and add some extensions. But I don't know that I will ever do that. A good cutters will cut that edging. And I just used a piece of chain. I'd screw down one end and get a 2-foot radius for doing the corners. And I haven't raced all 4 cars on it yet. I haven't had my grandkids over yet. And then the paint is just a heavy duty floor paint. I chose one without sand in it. The surface is quite rough and the cars hook up really well. To get the corners to bank, I cut a bunch of 15-degree triangles at a 2x4 and just placed them strategically. And I ended up just screwing some of this to the wall, put a bracket on the wall. When you bank the corners, you end up with some distortion. I had to put this piece in partly because once you bank the corners, things get twisted a little bit. And then I wanted to just have one of these in between these 2 tracks. So I ended up using this spacing. To get the screws to be flush here, I just use one of these little guys so the screws will go down flush. I did use some plaster of Paris to patch a rough spot right there. The cars take a little bump right before that corner, so I'm going to have to do that a couple more coats because it shrinks every time it dries. And then I just used a tape on every one of the transitions so the cars don't don't get hit hard on that rail. The cars will get trapped under this if they have a side mirror sometimes. But my goal here was to have the cars just keep going, hit the guardrail and slide along to make it easy for first-time drivers to make it around the track. And I've raced on the RCP tracks a little. We have a club here with one. I mostly let my grandkids drive, but when they hit on the RCP tracks on the side rail, the cars almost stop. And then that causes collisions. And so the goal here was to have them slide along, and it works quite well. You can race several hours without ever flipping a car also, but I did make a big long 4-foot spatula so I can grab the cars and flip them over and get them if they break. Okay, the track is completed. Haven't tried a race with 4 cars yet. Got a couple of rough spots. I gotta learn how to drive. I can almost drive faster in training mode. If I can keep off the side, I get a faster time, obviously. You got to turn the steering pretty tight to make this smallest radius. And then you have lots of steering that you can mess up with. 6.65. That might be my fastest time.